so today we're going to do some stretching, which is so important to do all throughout your life, but especially during pregnancy because your muscles are being strained in different ways, especially your low back as your body starts to pull forward with more weight over here. So I'm just going to take you through some easy stretches, and hopefully this will feel really good for you. If you're farther along, make sure you don't push yourself beyond what feels comfortable because your joints and ligaments are going to be looser and things are going to move around more than they normally would. All right, so just make sure. Inhale up and out. And really stretch up and out. Now we're going to come up and lean to one side. Just let that side of your body really lengthen. And other side. Breathe through that. Stretch back just a little bit. And down. I want to step away from the wall. Stretch your arms out a little bit. And do a really light rotating twist. So I'm just having my elbows here, turning my back heel. I feel this in my hip flexors. Like right hand here and then here as I rotate. You might get a little adjustment in your back. Let's do that as well. One more. All right. Now let's bend into kind of a wide lunge. Keep your hands on your thighs and just sort of twist one shoulder in. And then the other shoulder. And you're pushing out on your knees. You should probably feel this in your inner thighs, but also in your back a little bit. Feels really good to me. All right, so from here, just turn your toes forward and try to drop down and just round down. If this is easy for you, you might want to grab your elbows and just hang. Sometimes I actually feel my spine separate a little bit in this position. It feels really good. Just hold this for a second. Your hamstrings might be getting very tight as your lower back has more pressure on it because everything is connected. Your lower back is going to be connected to your glutes and your hamstrings all the way through down to your calves. All right, so from here, walk your hands out a little bit. I'm going to turn. Just sort of stretch your calf muscles. So one leg at a time. Just go as far down as you can. Just go back and forth for a little bit. If this feels good to you, just keep with that. If you want a little bit more of a stretch, you can bend that foot, that your heel is pressed down, and you'll get it more kind of in your Achilles too. So bend if you can. All right, from here, drop down all fours. Let's do cat and cow. This is a really good move for pregnancy. You're gonna curl your back up and then breathe out and look up. Let yourself stretch through your lower back. Breathe in, out, and cow. I guess this is cat. Cow, yeah. Cat, pull it up. Feel yourself drawing your belly button up a little bit. And then push out again. All right, now sink back. Stretch those shoulders out here. You'll also kind of stretch your hips out. This feels really good to my shoulders. And you can walk to one side and you'll feel it stretch up the side as well. And then walk back to the middle. And other side. And again, just go as far as you can and hold it for as long as it feels comfortable. Back to the middle and come up. All right, from here, let's put one foot forward and you're gonna stretch this hip. Now, this right here is sore for me. And as a gymnast, I used to really be able to do full splits, over splits, but you gotta take your body with what you're able to do right now. At the end of this video, I'm gonna show you a way to loosen your psoas muscle, which I just recently learned about, but it really helps with relieving lower back pain. And it's kind of an interesting way to do that. So as you're here, put one hand down on the ground And then take this at your own pace if you feel like you can do this. Twist. You'll feel it even more in your hip flexor and in your lower back. If that feels comfortable to you, you can pick your back leg up off the floor and do it a little bit farther. And then come back down. I like to stretch my hamstrings out too, so if you feel comfortable with this, if I'm looking at the front, obviously you have to have some space for your belly. So go off to the side a little bit. If you want a deeper stretch, you can flex your front foot. And just kind of breathe through this. Every time you exhale, try to just sink a little bit lower, as long as you're not overstretching yourself here. And then rock back forward and push back up. Let's do the other leg. So again, just starting in a tall lunge position. Your hips should be square, not out facing the other direction. Just let everything move. Shoulders above your hips. You don't want your knee pushing out over your foot. Keep everything tall. And just breathe through that. Try to sink a little bit deeper. If you want to, you can actually like take an inhale and back up and then exhale into it. And really practicing breathing when it's stretching and you're a little uncomfortable can also help you with getting ready for labor. Even if it's just mentally, just breathing. Nice, deep, cleansing breath, right? All right, so put your hand down and twist as far as you can. If it's here, that's great. If you can go farther, whatever you're comfortable with. And if you want a little bit deeper, pick that back leg up and get a full spine twist there. And just breathe through it. And then come back down and stretch the hamstrings. Now we did a lot with our squats and those hamstring moves yesterday. So I'm feeling this and it feels really good to stretch back out. Just breathe through it. And come back up. And then let's come to a butterfly position. So you want to just kind of open your hips up, lean forward, try to make a nice flat back and push down with your elbows without like really just going as far as you can. I don't think it's necessary, especially with your belly, to try to like round and touch your nose to it. I think you get a better stretch in your hips if you just kind of keep a flat back and pull and try to release. And then breathe forward, pull it into that again. And then let's go into a pigeon. So this one, you're gonna have your back leg behind you. If this is too much, you can just sort of bend your back knee or come up a little bit. But this is gonna stretch that outside of your glute muscle. Feels so good. And this is one that you don't have to like lean into it too much, and your belly's not gonna overly stop you from this stretch. But these muscles that, I don't know, I feel them so much, maybe it's just me, it feels really good to stretch this. And then let's swing the legs around, to the side. Try and set up nice and tall. The taller you are, the more you'll feel that stretch in your hip flexor. You can kind of bend into it if you want to too, and it'll get lower into your glutes. So both ways are going to be a good stretch, wherever you're at. All right, swing around. And now I want to show you that psoas muscle thing. Proper terms there for you, by the way. What you're going to do is lay flat on your back, which if you're, if this is uncomfortable, don't do that. But it only takes a couple seconds, so if you can bear it, I don't know, I should probably say something like consult your doctor for this first. I learned this when I was not pregnant. So I could find my belly button. So just imagine you're going directly down from where your belly button is. And they said about 3 inches to the angle towards your hip is where this psoas muscle is. And the psoas muscle, I'm gonna sit up since I'm talking still and not doing anything. The psoas muscle wraps around from your hip flexor to your lower back. So if it gets really tight in the front, it's gonna pull on your back even more. And I was having so much lower back pain, and I figured this out. Actually, a massage therapist showed me how to do this, and it was like, oh my gosh, my back pain went from like a 7-8 one day to nothing the next day just from doing this thing. So you lay your back, you go about 3 inches from where your belly button would be. So not right on your hip flexor bones, but right on the muscle on the inside of it, and just really gently, especially now with a baby inside here, you want to be just gentle. And then she had me do 3 deep breaths, and then she'd push as I was exhaling, just push down on that muscle. So go, and as you breathe out, push on the muscle. And then you breathe in and sort of release, and then push down again as you exhale. And you can go, you can control the pressure yourself, so you don't want to push too hard. If it feels uncomfortable, you might need to move around and make sure you feel like you're on the right muscle. And then last time, exhale. And then you can do it on the other side, where you find about from your belly button 3 inches down where that muscle is, and then breathe in and exhale, push down. Inhale, release, and push down. And then one more time, inhale, and exhale, release. If you're comfortable stretching your back out too, you can pull in this way, sort of rock side to side. This is also a nice stretch if you're able to do it still, where you can cross your knees, grab your heels, kind of pull in, and then switch the other way. And if that's too much, you can just grab at your knees. And then turn to the side, sit yourself up. And I hope that helps you feel better at the end of the day with all that good stretching. Have a great day, guys.